welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be talking all about this upcoming new moon in Virgo happening on the 2nd of September. So that is going to be Monday. Yes. On Monday, this new moon will be taking place, though I also just want to say before we do get into this, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And just to let you know as well, if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find all of my astrology products over there. And if you are interested in gaining access to new videos early, ad-free, plus PDF guides and daily forecasts, then you can join the Patreon. And I want to say thank you so much to my patrons over there for all of your support. Okay, so I even just want to mention here that I'm on a little bit earlier. I am. For some reason, the streaming service that I use, it wouldn't let me post the video in advance. So what I might even just do is just double check to see if I'm on YouTube. Okay. I'm not really sure why they changed it. Maybe we could call it a bit of a Mercury retrograde thing. Hey, on that note, Mercury turns direct today, everybody. Woohoo. Okay, yes, we're good. We are good. We're successfully live. Happy days. Right, so back to what I was saying there. Yes, Mercury turns direct today. How has this Mercury retrograde been for you? I feel as if this new moon in Virgo is like a, just a sigh of relief. Just you fall into your sofa. You get into bed after a long, hard day at work or after loads of socializing. And you just want to relax a little bit. Yes, this is what I think the new moon in Virgo will invite us to do, especially after such a hectic Mercury retrograde for many people. And I know Mercury does turn retrograde about 3-4 times a year, but just with the aspects, we've had the Jupiter-Saturn square and everything, which we're going to talk more on, or we're going to talk more about in a moment. But firstly, I just want to say hello to Black Butterfly. Welcome to you. Oh, so this must be your first time catching a live. Great. Thank you for being here. And yes, happy Mercury Direct Day, everyone, on a Wednesday. Hey, Mercury Day. And hi, Danielle. I hope you are doing good. Great to see you here as always. Okay. So let's continue on, and we'll just give a bit of a brief overview of the astrology during this new moon. So what we have here is the sun and moon, of course, right? They're conjunct. It's a new moon. They're conjunct there at 11 degrees, opposing Saturn retrograde. So we're going to touch on that. Plus, there is still a bit of a square happening between Jupiter and the sun and moon. The orb is probably a little bit wide there, but I would still count it, especially when we consider how Saturn and Jupiter are still doing their thing in this square, this challenging square aspect. Plus, we have here Neptune making a square to Mars around this new moon. So I just want to touch on this one quickly. Maybe all the more reason to, just breathe out, take it slow, take it easy if you can. I mean, this could be quite a distracting time. We may find ourselves being pushed and pulled in all these different directions. And I don't think this is anything new, considering the last few weeks. But yes, many distractions are likely. And our energy levels could just be a little bit like, am I feeling this? I don't know. You could be, for instance, quite wrecked or just a bit tired. But see, when you do get moving, you start doing something. Maybe it's like a puzzle, or you go to the gym, or you do a workout, whatever it is, just going for a walk. Then all of a sudden you feel like, oh, yeah, I have more energy. I'm actually all good here. Let's do this. So it could just sort of be like that. Or it could be the opposite way, right? Where you are completely energized and you're doing your thing, and then just there is a big hit of sleepiness, or hey, just wanting to be home. You're like, I need home, don't want to be here anymore. So yeah, we could be working with this kind of energy around the new moon. Also, the sun and moon create this trine to Ceres in Capricorn. Of course, Ceres is now direct in Capricorn. Capricorn, breathe. But no, for real though, I think that the sun and moon trine Ceres, or the sun and moon trine to Ceres, can be quite healing and hopefully nurturing. But then again, hopefully we're not too hard on ourselves, because both Virgo and Capricorn can be like this, can be the types of signs that place a lot of value in what they do. And there can be all sorts of themes to do with perfectionism and self-punishment, being super harsh and critical, things like this. So hopefully with the trine aspect, we can invite some softness, a gentleness, perhaps even Vesta being in Virgo can assist with this a little bit, which we'll touch on Vesta in a moment. And then naturally, Mercury direct. So Mercury direct creating significant aspects with Taurus, Gemini, and Aries. And lastly, I want to say Venus will be in Libra by that point. Oh, sorry. Hope I didn't cut out or anything there. Sometimes my computer goes a little bit lower, but I think we're good. Yes, Venus will be in Libra by the time this new moon happens. Venus is entering Libra tomorrow. So we're going to touch on this information today. And I just want to say hello to others who have joined. Let me just change things around. Why will you not let me scroll up? Oh, it's not letting me scroll up. Why? Okay. Oh, there we go. We got it. Hello, Chris. Thank you for being here. Welcome to you. Misbehaving. Hi, Misbehaving. Good to have you here again. And Lou, hello to you. Welcome. No one, hello to you. It's always funny to say that out loud, isn't it? It's like, no one. Yes, welcome to you. And yes, I know, Danielle. Hallelujah. Thank goodness. And Damien, hi to you. Yes, you are super glad. I feel like a lot of people are feeling this. There's more of a relief here with Mercury turning direct for a lot of people, more than the average Mercury retrograde. Perhaps, there's maybe something to be said about it starting in Virgo, and Mercury, of course, rules Virgo. And then Virgo is kind of part of the challenging mutable energy we've all been working with. Okay, so I'm going to continue on, but I do just want to say hello, everyone. Yes, and hello to Breeze as well. Hello, and Sabrina, hello to you as well. Okay, I need to continue on. So I'll try my best to keep up with the chat at the same time. All right. So the new moon is happening at 11 degrees here. I want you to remember that when we think about numerology is, or the number 11 is a master number. So This is a number that can welcome great insight and wisdom. It's a number of truth and inner knowing. So perhaps there is something to be said about this new moon really showing up in these ways for us. Even if you look at the number 11 itself, it kind of looks like the Gemini symbol because it has the two vertical lines there. But whenever I look at this number, I see a doorway. I see an access point, kind of like a portal. So, maybe we could say here as a suggestion that this is a new moon that can welcome some kind of spiritual growth and this sort of opening, this passing through energy. And with the number 11, then, when you add the 1 and the 1, we get the number 2. So I then think about how that number 2 energy is about companionship and union and collaboration. Maybe this is where we get a bit of the Libra energy coming into the equation, because Libra is all about union and partnerships, and Venus will be in Libra during the new moon. Also, just want to say, if I sound weird, please let me know if I sound fuzzy or strange at all. I have been having issues with my mic lately, and I know, probably thinking, Mercury retrograde, yes, not annoying at all. But yes, please just let me know if you can. Another thing I want to mention about the number 11 is this is an Aquarius degree, actually. So this could be this new moon where there is a flavor of togetherness. There is a flavor of being more socially concerned and more thinking about humanity. Or there could be some kind of quality about this new moon that says, welcome the new, welcome a change, right? Plus, this new moon also happens within the Virgo Capricorn decan. So there's the Virgo part of it, and then there's this Capricorn decan. So there is a steadiness, a determination to this new moon. And I guess with Saturn itself being opposite, we're going to see these themes show up, and we're going to touch more on Saturn's role during the new moon as well. But just a little reminder here, everybody. What are new moons all about? New moons are about gaining a fresh perspective, okay? There can be this fresh start attitude or quality. New beginnings, we set new intentions, we plant new seeds, all about the new. And new moons are also about reflecting. So we can go inward, we can get really quiet with ourselves, and naturally there is the start of a new cycle that happens. Plus, just to further say, our feelings may be amplified around the new moon. And many of us may be rather sensitive, but keep in mind that this new moon is in Virgo, so we may be sensitive about the way we do things, about the order in which we do things, or we might be sensitive about criticisms, or it could even be that our feelings are amplified when it comes to being productive or our health, right? You think about the health matters there to do with Virgo, which we're going to talk more about Virgo here. Okay, so here we see then the steps. And just to say, Breeze, thank you so much for letting me know. Well, thank you. I'm not, I'm fine. I don't have a cold or anything. I think it's because I'm trying to be a little bit quieter so I don't affect the mic. I feel like I'm holding back a little bit because I'm like, please, mic, don't turn off. But anyway, right. Thank you again. Okay, so to continue on folks, let's go through how this new moon is going to unfold. So we're going to be planting new seeds. To do with what? To do with being of service, humility, grounding ourselves, right? That's kind of why I was saying earlier, this sigh, Virgo can be such a purifying sign, a very healing sign. Virgo teaches us to connect with our health and our bodies, but more so, this is about having a holistic view about health and seeing the interconnectedness between our mind, body, and soul. Even when we think about how Saturn is opposing the new moon, we especially see these themes. We think about how Pisces is the depths. Pisces is the deep, deep, deep ocean, that the darkness, and is so much about our spiritual growth and our emotional growth there. So yes, we can see this further, with the mind, body, soul connection during this new moon. And with both signs being that signs of service and helping others, serving others in some way, with both signs having a lot to say. Flip. I just got very warm there all of a sudden. Very like a heat. Just wowie. I do apologize, but yes, as I was trying to say there, with both signs, really showing up as being purifying there, then and healing too, right? There's a lot to do with healing. This is where we notice how this new moon is gonna welcome these themes, right? So as we plant new seeds to do with these themes and these qualities, remember that June 2025, there will be the first quarter moon in Virgo. So that will be when the intentions that we set around this new moon will be tested. They will be tested, we will be challenged, but we can strengthen ourselves. This is where we can overcome. And then here's the interesting thing. By March 2026, there will be an eclipse. So there will be the solar, or should I say the lunar eclipse in Virgo. And that will be when we release, when we reap rewards, these types of things. I want you to remember even here that we are approaching eclipse season. So it's not over yet, mutable signs. It's not over yet. There will be the lunar eclipse in Pisces coming up in 2 weeks after this new moon. So we'll obviously have a separate video about that. So yes, there will be that lunar eclipse in Virgo. Okay, because eclipses, they work more so on the axis. So it will be both Pisces and Virgo there. And then with the third quarter moon, that will be when we adjust and when we learn. And that will be in 2026 too. So to continue on here with more information about Virgo, let's even think about how Virgo is a sign that keeps busy. It can be quite a busy body sign and can find it difficult to relax and let go. And maybe this is where we notice a part of Pisces coming along and saying, hey, Virgo, let go. It's okay to, maybe not do so much and to not just keep busy for the sake of being busy. Plus, at the same time, I do want to acknowledge that Virgo can be very efficient. There can be this efficiency to Virgo, making sure that resources are used well, making sure that things don't just go to waste, right? I mean, you could perhaps see Virgo types using up all of the food in their fridge, for example, or just being quite mindful of the sell-by dates and things like that. So there's no waste there. And I even just want to mention something from my own everyday life. There is, during the last full day of Mercury retrograde, I reorganized my clothes and my finances. So this is where we can see here with Virgo the ability to have a look at, okay, what needs to be sorted out? What can we reorganize? Now, at the same time, productivity is a big thing. This stuff can be on our minds then. So how productive are we? But again, I think this is about being mindful of our productivity levels and maybe being mindful of times when we slip into unconscious productive methods that don't actually serve us very well. And it does just turn into this hamster wheel thing, where we're just constantly going and going, running on coffee and not looking after our bodies and things like this. Yes, I guess you could say that there can be a part of Virgo that can get caught up in the mind and can be ruled by their thoughts strongly. And so perhaps this is also where Pisces can step in and say, hey, Virgo, out of the mind, connect within. You don't actually need to do so much. You don't need to. And that actually can be quite a difficult thing for a lot of Virgo types to acknowledge. I know that for myself, that such things that I'm talking about right now, I struggle with in my everyday life. Still, with this new moon happening, it is a new moon that invites really going within and reflecting upon our everyday tasks and our to-do lists and how productive are we, how busy are we. It can be, of course, a time of reminders, corrections, improvements, things like that. And then with the Trine to Ceres, there's some accountability present, taking accountability, thinking about self-mastery as well. Respect is a big thing for Capricorn. So respect and showing up, professionalism as well could be a part of this. So, there could be something about business, there could be something about your professional lives that that is really highlighted around this time period. But then, of course, we notice with the opposition to Saturn and the square to Jupiter, responsibility and commitment struggles are likely. But it's also about kind of thinking over, okay, how might you be spreading yourself too wide? I think this is a good opportunity to clear some space and to see what works realistically. So from us clearing space and seeing what works realistically, then from that place, we can set new intentions, right? But at the same time, we can possess faith. Okay, I do apologize there. I just got this big, heat, just very, very warm. Maybe it's because it is still quite warm outside and I'm wearing sleeves. And anyway, okay. So here. So we have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn as well. Remember, folks, on the 1st of September, the day before the new moon happens, Pluto is going to re-enter Capricorn for one last time for a few weeks. How are you feeling about it, people? How are you feeling? So last chance of Pluto retrograde in Capricorn during the new moon in Virgo, right? So can you see how much you have matured? This can be a place of karmic shifts, reality checks, being humbled, perhaps. Seeing how the smaller stuff adds up to the bigger stuff. Your inner authority will very much be present. And this can be about gaining wisdom in relation to longevity and structure. Remember that we've been working with this energy for quite a while. But just over the next few weeks then, as Pluto continues through Capricorn at that 29th degree, yeah, maybe it is about tying up some loose ends. Maybe it's just becoming very, very clear about your structures, the structures you've built and the foundations that you've built there. And do remember that limitations can be healthy. Limitations can be our friend as well. Plus, discipline is a big Capricorn word. So perhaps we will see more renewals and transformations to do with discipline. Now, with Vesta being in Virgo, as I was saying earlier, of course, Vesta is even making that trine to Ceres, but this is about the devotion to your craft, to your health, your wellness, to services you offer, to the things and situations you wish to fix and repair. And naturally, this also suggests more healing properties as well. Now, the dispositor of the new moon, of course, is Mercury, and Mercury will be direct in Leo. We have a bit of a mutual reception happening with Mercury in Leo and then the Sun in Virgo. So what are we going to notice here? Clarity and perspective changes, seeing things in retrospect, moving forward confidently after much evaluation. So just think about the past couple of weeks, with Mercury retrograde, especially with a big portion of it in Leo, and consider how you have reviewed your confidence, that even the sort of conversations you have with yourself, about your worth and about your capabilities and your strength and things like this. And I think as well, a big part of it is about being noble, right? Leo can be a highly noble sign and very loyal, a very, very loyal sign. So perhaps Mercury retrograde has welcomed greater nobility on our part and loyalty as well. So the last slide then, before we get into your horoscopes, because I know you'll care about your horoscopes more, but let me just go through and just mention a couple of significant points. So Mercury, of course, Mercury is direct, remember, will then trine Chiron retrograde. So with that being said, how might your ego be clinging on? There could still be a part of this where a part of us is not so ready to grow up. A part of us is not so ready to let go of an old narrative or thought process. Maybe some fear comes into this, but hey, maybe this is about being quite kind and supportive to our inner child and having this heartfelt and warm quality to us, or this warm quality of talking to ourselves. Naturally, then this stuff I talk about can be a part of our own healing. And with Mercury square Uranus, do be mindful. I think especially because we've got Mercury square Uranus and we also have Neptune square Mars. So be mindful of mental overload. Be mindful of extreme fatigue or even just clashes in understanding. There could be misunderstandings. It could be a situation where you say something out of turn or you speak really, really quickly without realizing. And all of a sudden, you're in a bit of a sticky situation. But hey, this could also be mental breakthroughs. This could be freedom, right? So the clarity that we gain with Mercury turning direct, that could very well lead to greater freedom. And we could break away from an old thought process. And that old thought process could very well be tied to our values and our self-worth and our finances maybe as well, right? There could be a sudden sort of shift that happens with relation to our financial world or just thinking about our physical security in some way, shape, or form. with Uranus being in Taurus. Plus, with Mercury sextile Mars, I want you to remember here that we have been working with this sextile energy between Sun and Mars. That was more a few weeks ago. That was more during Leo season. I'll just say that. But yes, with Mercury now connecting more with Mars, this is about self-assertion, the courage to do the thing. Yes, having the courage and the bravery to do the thing that we really want to do as we move forward with Mercury direct. Lastly, Venus in Libra. So Venus in Libra will conjunct the South Node and oppose the North Node. So what can this suggest? Possibly partnership deals and contracts. There could be a potentiality for seeking advice from financial advisors. We might balance our finances there. So we can look to financial advisors as a way to help us balance our finances. Or this could just be about working with others rather than against others, just seeking win-win outcomes and solutions. So being cooperative, being mindful, being thoughtful, listening to other people's views, things like this. But hey, at the same time, being quite open and honest about our own views too, right? There's space for conversation in this regard. Rightio, let's now get into your horoscopes, everybody. Yes, hope we survive the eclipse. Of course, we'll get through it, no problem. Let me see. Yes, Danielle, the lunar eclipse in Pisces. Oh, it's going to be quite close to your moon. Okay, so let me just get my timestamps and then we're going to go through your horoscopes. Yes, let's see. Right, so firstly we have Aries. I'm gonna make my screen wider. So I'll be dipping in and out to look at the chat, but here we go. Okay, Aries. Okay, so Aries, the new moon is going to be happening in your 6th house. Right, so I want you to think about how over the past few weeks, you've been reviewing things like your priorities, your habits, your routines, your schedules. You've been reassessing what you enjoy, right? What lights you up. You've been taking a closer look at entertainment and pleasure and enjoyment, right? So the things that really do speak to your heart. So with this new moon happening in your 6th house, this is a good opportunity for you to really plant new seeds to do with things like your schedules and your routines and your habits. And just take a moment even to think about, okay, well, what has maybe happened there over the past few weeks to do with these things? And maybe there is something that comes to mind, right? So for instance, perhaps for some Aries, you went to an interview, right? Maybe you went to a job situation, or there was something that came up to do with coworker relationships recently. But this is a new moon that it says, okay, plant new seeds based on what came up. Or just this is maybe a fresh start, a fresh perspective, a new beginning here to do with these matters. Now, at the same time, Saturn is in the 12th for you. Okay, I get this feeling, Aries, that you're feeling quite fed up. You're feeling fed up with the work situation. You're feeling fed up with all of the setbacks and the blockages and the limitations to do with your everyday lives. And maybe you are craving some kind of consistency, or maybe you seek for something to change so that you feel more like yourself, or you feel more grounded and healthy. But perhaps, just perhaps, Saturn in your 12th house is communicating this message of letting go of the things that do not serve your soul, being open to new possibilities. And it's interesting because as Saturn creates more of a challenging quality here, and Saturn can look at how things, so we see this contracting quality to Saturn. But with Jupiter's more about expansion and growth. And so maybe this is where we see something about new opportunities, right? With Jupiter in the third, there could be an opportunity to step outside of your comfort zone when it comes to, could be social media, it could be travel, or short distance travel there. Perhaps this is about researching, or maybe even the job or the role that you want to do. It really does involve a lot of communication, thinking about building rapport with people, maybe teaching others. Perhaps this is even about learning something new, right? Having the courage to move forward with a new project or a new subject there. Even consider how, of course, Mars is still a part of this new moon. And of course, as Mercury does turn direct and moves forward there with it, so it's direct in your 5th house, you're moving forward, I think, when it comes to your creativity, when it comes to the things that you really enjoy, and those things that, like I was saying earlier, light you up. And maybe it is a part of it where you're able to recognize the separation between this is work mode versus this is play mode. Maybe you're a bit more clear about these different areas of your life, Aries. Okay, so Taurus. Okay. Taurus, all right. So this new moon is happening in your 5th house, Taurus. So I want you to think about how Mercury was retrograde, well, has been retrograde in your 5th and 4th houses over the past few weeks. So think about how over the past few weeks, you've been taking a closer look at DIY projects or your self-care. You've been thinking about and considering how you create. And with you, Taurus, of course, you can be quite detail oriented in the ways that you create, quite mindful of each step that you take there. Maybe you can also be your own worst enemy as well when it comes to your creativity a little bit, Taurus. But yes, I think that perhaps you have been going over these things, and at the same time taking a step back and thinking about how you relate to family members, right? How you may speak confidently with them, or maybe how you feel seen by them, how validated you feel, how heard you feel. Are you actually listened to? Do you feel seen within your family home? These types of questions, perhaps. Or maybe it's simply being more so about just your private life, Taurus, right? Taking some time for you, taking some time to yourself at home, and being a bit more contemplative in this way, right? And thinking a little bit more about your emotional well-being, your emotional wellness there. So as this new moon happens in your 5th house, perhaps you will set new intentions based on what has come up for you over the past few weeks. And this new moon could very well invite some kind of new strategy, a new process, right? A fresh perspective to do with your creativity, a fresh perspective to do with your hobbies and your forms of enjoyment. Hey, this could even be a romantic thing, quite possibly, right? Your romantic relationships could be a big part of this, and any sort of significant changes or improvements that you wish to make within those relationships, that, you know, they could be very much on your mind. And again, you set new intentions based on these things. Okay. At the same time, I want to say that Saturn opposite in the 11th house, well, there could be a part of this, Taurus, where you're feeling a little bit deflated when it comes to friendships. I mean, this could be something as simple as it's hard to find the time to be with friends. It's hard to find the time to connect with people, or to show up within certain groups or clubs that you're a part of. But that could be a challenging thing, and maybe because it just feels like there's a lot going on for you, right? Maybe you're just quite busy. Maybe you're busy when it comes to your children. Maybe you're very busy when it comes to your romantic relationships or work, right? So yeah, there could just be some blockages there for you. Or this could even be a scenario where you feel a bit flat when it comes to your hopes and wishes for the future, right? Maybe there could be some self-doubts on your part, and it's hard to see the path. You know, it's hard to see things in a clear way. And so maybe because of that, or hey, maybe because things are just taking a while, you're just like, oh, when's it gonna come? When's it gonna happen? And I get it, with you, you are known to be quite a patient sign, but still Saturn can point towards setback after setback, and that may not be the most enjoyable of things, naturally. But I do want you to remember that Jupiter and Mars are in your 2nd house. And so I do think that there is opportunity here. There is some kind of growth to do with your finances, your resources, right? Your physical security and your earnings and everything. Your savings, spending habits could increase or improve in some way. But yes, I guess at the same time, it just may feel like you're being pulled back slightly. Yeah, but hey, there could be maybe a way to think more about, okay, mental fortitude, strength, courage. So to have courage in the face of adversity, or to be brave and courageous, even though things may not be going to plan right now, right? And remember that with squares and challenging aspects, we have an opportunity to grow. So there could be an opportunity for you to grow and to clear space, to see even what works for you realistically here, right? What works for you realistically when it comes to your resources there and finances, for example. So maybe there are certain cuts, or maybe there are certain ways that certain cuts that need to be made, or certain ways that you spread yourself too wide. And when you recognize that you are spreading yourself too wide, you can bring it back maybe to something a bit more refined and a bit more simpler. Maybe the moon in Virgo is pointing toward a little bit of this for you. Yeah. And of course, with Mercury moving forward, there's mental clarity here up ahead when it comes to these things. Okay, so Gemini. Okay. We've got the new moon happening in your 4th house, Gemini. So I want you to think about the past few weeks. The past few weeks, you have been reviewing and reassessing DIY things in the home. So home improvements, renovations, stuff like this. Maybe you've been really thinking about how you organize things within your home, right? There's just a lot of clearing out or reorganizing, seeing just what works and what doesn't. Maybe you've been coming up with many ideas about the improvements you want to make. And yes, this could be about your home, but this could just be more about how you spend time at home as well, the order in which you do things, the little routines that you have in your home, stuff like this. And that's just more of a personal thing, right? So yes, let's think about how Mercury is your chart ruler there. So maybe there is a part of it where you get a little bit excited and you're like, oh, what can I change? What can I do? But then maybe there's a part of you as well that gets a bit frustrated because certain things can be a bit boring. Maybe these home situations are a bit, what is it? Not meticulous, monotonous, just a bit boring and dry, a bit bland, Gemini, and you're just like, I'm over it. But then we also notice how a part of the Mercury retrograde over the past few weeks has actually invited the reassessment of how you just go about your day, thinking about how you get from A to B, how you commute, maybe getting a feel for your local area, opening your eyes to new destinations and places and locations around your local area. Maybe there is something about you tapping into your inner child a lot more here, Gemini. So there is that spark that the Mercury retrograde has brought you. But still, I think that the new moon in Virgo is going to invite planting new seeds based on what I just said. So this could be where, okay, a few certain ideas came to you over the past few weeks about your living situation. And then under the new moon, you set new intentions to do with how you can reorganize your space or how you can get really comfortable within your home there. There could be a new fine sense of self. There could be a fresh perspective about your family dynamics and how you spend time, about how you spend time with your loved ones, these kinds of things, creating memories and moments, etc. there. Gemini, yeah, really how you connect with your family, how you relate with them, and how you can maybe make more time together there, right? So planting new seeds to do with these things. Now, at the same time, Saturn is in the 10th opposite. So I think Gemini, there's something here about the tests. So the trials and the tribulations and the tests to do with your professional lives, your vocation, to do with how you show up amongst the public, right? Your your social image, your public image, stuff like this. Maybe there's some of you, you're over it, right? You're over certain delusions and confusions there. You're over any sort of falsehood there. Maybe even this is about greater maturity and wisdom on your part when it comes to the online space. Yes, but whatever the case may be, there could just be this this kind of tense feeling, or we could see some responsibility struggles with relation to your career showing up around this new moon, Gemini. Now, I do want to say that Jupiter and Mars are still in your first house during the new moon. So I think with especially Jupiter hanging out in your first house, you have already, a few weeks or a couple months actually into this transit. you've been considering, okay, how can I grow and expand when it comes to my aims and my goals? What have I not thought of yet? Being full of ideas and feeling inspired. But hey, there's still a part of it, I think, where maybe you're just not quite ready, or maybe you need more time. Maybe there is greater patience required on your part there. Or perhaps it is just about keeping your head down a little bit and keeping on going, right? Persevering, being persistent in the ways that you can, showing mental fortitude, courage in the face of adversity. Naturally, then, with Mercury being direct, you can hopefully move forward with those mental lessons based on the retrograde section that I previously mentioned, and maybe you'll have clearer insights and perspectives about communication and education as well, Gemini. Cancer. Okay, so Cancer, this new moon is happening in your third house. So, over the past few weeks for you, Cancer, you have been really thinking about, I would say, the details and how you communicate. I think with Virgo in the third house, you tend to be quite detail oriented communicators anyway. And I think that you care about the meaning of words and the pronunciation of words quite well too. And so there could be a quality here of you polishing up your communication skills, or just making small tweaks and improvements, small changes to your communicative skills. Your social skills could even come into this. And then at the same time, taking a closer look at how you earn money, how you earn it, how you spend it, how you save it, how you budget, all of those things. And perhaps there is a self-assurance, or should I say a self-assured aspect to these matters as well. There's something about confidence and knowing yourself and not apologizing for who you are, and maybe even leadership comes into the equation, right? So how you are heard as an individual, and how others follow your lead. I mean, if it is, for instance, here, Cancer, that you earn your money via being a supervisor or a manager or a boss in some way, right? So a leadership position, maybe it is really important to you that people respect you, or that people treat you in this, there's a sense of dignity. I think there's a sense of respect in general there. Yes, I think that these things matter to you a great deal. So yeah, I think perhaps you've been considering these matters over the past few weeks. And so with this new moon here in Virgo, you might be setting new intentions based on what's really come up for you over these past few weeks, when we think about what I've just mentioned. And at the same time, I think that this could invite some kind of new cycle, a fresh perspective to do with education, to do with learning. So, for instance, it could be some kind of new program, right? So, further training, or just a training quality to the work that you do, the services that you provide. Now, at the same time, I do want to say that Saturn is opposing this third house for you in the ninth. So we could see possibly legal proceedings. So there could be something about the legal system that limits you or blocks you a little bit. I mean, a little example, it could be that you have to serve within the court of law in some way, or you have to sort out some important legal documents that need to really be done, and you think to yourself, oh, I just can't with this, maybe because these matters limit you or block you when it comes to your everyday lives and when it comes to the learning that you want to do. Yes. Now, another possibility here, though, could be that your self-beliefs are tested and challenged, or there could be something about travel. There could be something challenging, or there could be a tension regarding travel there. So yes, I mean, it could be something as simple as you wanting to save for a certain trip, but you realize that you have to be more patient. Or it could be something like having to wait an extra few months to go on a certain trip again. And, maybe such matters could be about your work or your services. Furthermore, I want to say that with Jupiter, Jupiter is in the 12th here and Mars. So there is a part of this, I feel, where you're growing spiritually, right? You're doing a lot of inner work, I think, Cancer. I think that you are expanding in ways that are quite mysterious. So even just behind the scenes, you may not recognize just how much, mentally you are growing and spiritually, of course. But maybe a part of this is because you have awakened yourself to your own courage. You've awakened yourself to your own bravery. And again, this could be subtle. This could be something that you may not necessarily identify with, but it does appear as if you're pushing more for what you want, I think, in subtle ways. Even if it does seem like your patience is being tested, as is the patience of many of us. And then naturally with Mercury direct, you can move forward there with the mental lessons and insights to do with your resources and your finances. It could, I'm just going to say this, Cancer, it may be a situation around this new moon and there's a bit of oh, I'm not sure, what am I going to do? But just try and just trust that things are going to move, okay? And it may not be, so the financial stuff may not be as big as you think. Okay, so Leo. Leo. Okay. Leo. So this new moon will happen in your second house. Rightio. Leo. Over the past few weeks, you have been gaining new perspectives, taking a closer look to do well with how you organize, your finances. There's something systematic about this, creating a certain system, a certain process that works well. So that, I think, has been quite useful, perhaps for many Leos. And then at the same time, you've been considering, well, your life path, your direction, what do you want out of life? What about your goals? Where do you see things? Where are you headed, right? It's like, what do I want? What is my mission? And think about how these matters are tied to your creativity. Of course, you are a sign that's very known for being very creative. Think about how such matters are also linked up with the things that bring you joy and happiness. The things that get you going, the things that just create that spark, to keep that passion burning and alive. Yes. So indeed, I think that many Leos, you've been considering really just what you want out of life and how such matters speak to your heart. there. So the new moon happening in the second is going to welcome an opportunity to plant new seeds to do with things like your earnings and your resources and how you spend your money as well. And just thinking more closely about just the smallest details involved. I mean, really counting the pennies perhaps, or being quite mindful about how you label things, being mindful about the process of your finances there. What sort of process do you have in place? To take it away from finances, though, this could be more about your own connection with your body, with your physical body. This could be more about healing and your health and just taking your time. And so, indeed, planting new seeds to do with these areas and how such things are linked to your self-worth as well. At the same time, and maybe this is why it is important to connect with your body and to consider your health, but at the same time, Saturn opposite has something to say about psychological distress. And I don't mean to get too deep and intense with you as I say this, or to be, I want to be sensitive basically as I say this, but perhaps there could be something about you coming to terms with any addictive tendencies. Perhaps this is even about loss or times when you've been really hurt. There could be pain and sorrow and suffering that really comes up around this new moon for you. And maybe a part of it is really just, it's really, what can I say? I mean, sad situations are sad. They are sad. And it's important to validate our emotions when we go through these experiences. So yes, but what I'll even say here is it could be that investments or shared resources, debts or loans, these things could be limiting you in some way, shape, or form when it comes to your personal savings, your personal spending and finances there, right? So there's something else to add to that. Could even be about showing great discipline here when it comes to those more occult-like areas and subjects to do with the 8th house. So yes, discipline and possibly feeling a bit uninspired. That could be it, right? Just not super inspired at the moment, just feeling a little bit deflated when it comes to those interests of yours, those occult-like interests, those taboo subject interests. And that's okay, right? That is okay. Maybe it is about recognizing that things just move in phases. And that's the thing about astrology. Astrology reminds us that nothing ever stays the same. And especially with the moon goes through its phases. So it could just be a phase for you, Leo. Right, let's now consider how Jupiter itself is in the 11th. So I do think that there's a part of you, Leo, that is really wanting to grow and to just expand yourself, to learn more when it comes to group dynamics and friendships and clubs, etc. And maybe you are challenging yourself in new ways. You have been challenging yourself. You have been pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. But hey, maybe there's still a part of this where you just want to hide beneath the covers and not be seen by anybody. Right? There is that quality. Still, with Mercury direct, maybe you're willing and ready to move forward when it comes to your goals and your life path. Okay, so Virgo. Let me just go to the chat before we move on to Virgo. Oh, brilliant, Danielle. I'm happy to hear. Good. Yay. Okay, great. Great. You are enjoying it. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you for sharing. No one. Okay, we're moving on to Virgo now. Just getting some water. Okay. Virgo, well, here we go. What can I say? It is your new moon. Happy birthday to all of you solar Virgos out there. Actually, let me restart that because I didn't do my timestamps. Oops. Okay, second go. Virgo, 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 right. This is your new moon, and I want to say happy birthday to all of you solar Virgos out there. And just to bring to your attention that we're about to open up with an eclipse season. Okay, it's coming up, and there will be a lunar eclipse in Pisces opposite you. Virgo, you're going to be a part of this because there will be eclipses in your sign. But that, I feel, right, with the eclipses, going to be very significant when it comes to your life path, right? Significant life path shifts, significant partnership shifts here. More about the partnership stuff in the lunar eclipse in Pisces video to come. But I want you to consider how over the past few weeks you have been re-evaluating and reassessing, well, kind of similar to what I was saying to Leo, but what you want out of life. And the way I'm going to speak on this for you is that you value more routine. You know, more of the routine stuff. You can be quite habitual. You have a way that you like to do things. And you do appreciate things that work, right? Things that work well. So maybe this has been a process of, okay, well, what works for me, but also what doesn't work, what no longer works for me, what no longer is serving me and others, right? Possibly it is a part of this where you are considering other people. You're also considering your partner, you know, your significant other there, your family. So yes, a clearing out aspect comes to mind. But you see, with Mercury in the 12th, over the past few weeks, you've also then been reevaluating, okay, well, what about my intuition? What is it that my soul really craves here? And I think you've been taking a lot of time to do a lot of inner work to really contemplate. A good opportunity here over the past few weeks to step aside, just to go behind the scenes. And that's something that I did speak on. I think it might have been during the Leo season horoscopes. It could have been during that one. But even just to speak from my own experience quickly, because I do have a Virgo rising, I can recognize this, that I have taken a massive step back when it comes to creating and putting content out there and things like this. And I've just looked at it as, you know what, I need this. I need this for my mental wellness. I'm trying to figure a few things out right now. So Virgo, perhaps this has been quite huge for you. Maybe you've taken some time off work. Maybe you've went on a holiday. Maybe you've done more meditation. I mean, I know for me, I've taken up yoga and Pilates over the past few weeks, and that's been really, really healing for me. So yes, there's just something about stepping away, putting yourself first, loving yourself, Virgo. So this is a new moon that is gonna say, hey, plant new seeds to do with what has come up over these past few weeks. This could very well be a change of direction when it comes to your life goals. This could be a whole new path opening up for you when it comes to, well, how you view the world and what you want, really what you want out of life there, and your aims and everything. Maybe this is even a new look, a new style, a new way of presenting yourself to the world. Yes. Perhaps such matters are tied to your services and your workload or your health, right? Because even by you looking after your health, it's almost like you glow brighter. You feel more confident within yourself. You come across as like you're really, like you're healthy and like, you are enjoyable to be around as well because you are glowing more and you're projecting yourself out into the world a bit more as well. Yes, so health may be a big important factor within all of this and how that really shines through. Indeed. So the other thing I want to say is Saturn is opposing you in the 7th. Now, with this one, there could be a quality about this new moon or an aspect to this new moon that is a bit challenging for your significant other. Okay, there could be something about your significant other or your partner that feels limited or blocked in some way. This could be an emotional thing for them. Maybe this is even something about you feeling a bit sluggish yourself when it comes to client relationships, customers you work with. It could be that you are craving some kind of freedom or a certain change to do with clients and customers or to do with business. But yet, perhaps Saturn also points to emotional endurance, having the courage to face adversity. And then even with Mars and Jupiter, my apologies, Mars and Jupiter in the 10th house for you, there is something about mental fortitude here with respect to your professional life, right? I think for many Virgos, especially, you are a mutable sign. For many Virgos, it has felt like you've been tested greatly when it comes to major life situations. And naturally, those life situations involve what you do for a living and your long-term success there, building for the future there. So perhaps you have been exploring different ideas and options. You've been keeping yourself open to particular changes. Maybe you've been adapting greatly to a different order, to a different way of doing things. And back to Saturn again, I mean, yes, responsibility struggles here and commitment struggles to do with business, and especially thinking about those business partnerships. But, this could even be a matter of Saturn representing a person, right? It could be that literally it's a Saturn-like individual that enters the scene around this new moon. Or when we think about the process afterwards. But by Saturn, a Saturn-like individual, I mean someone who is quite structured and they're about high quality, great performance. And so maybe there's a part of this where you want to work with that person or they invite you to be on their team. But hey, then again, with Saturn still being retrograde and everything, maybe there's still some learning to be done on your part, Virgo. Okay, lastly then, of course, Mercury direct in the 12th. You will then, I think, move forward with greater clarity, just based on what has come up, right? So, for instance, maybe you have been doing a lot of contemplation, right? You've reflected upon, okay, what about my creativity? What about my imagination? What makes me happy? What brings me joy? What about children? All these sort of Leo themes. What about my communication and communicating in a confident way? You've been reflecting and going deeper. So with Mercury direct, you might feel a little bit more like, okay, I can see things here. I can see what's come up. It's time to move forward with greater self-recognition. And then naturally, Mercury will be back in your sign by, I think it's the 9th of September. And then, hey, that could be really where you're very analytical and you're you're a bit more, how do I say, you're sharper. I mean, I feel like I have not been the most sharp today. There's certain words I'm forgetting those words. Articulate was the word I was trying to go for, and I just wasn't articulate. Hopefully by the time Mercury re-enters Virgo, I'll be a bit more articulate again. Maybe it's just my energy at the minute. Who knows? Okay, Libra. Libra. Okay, so I kept you there a little while, Virgo. I apologize for that. Okay, so Libra. Let's try and make this a bit quicker. I'll start that again, actually. And you probably don't want me drinking water in the middle of your horoscope. Okay, Libra. Right. Okay, Hannah, energy. Libra. Let's think about how the new moon is happening in your 12th house. Right. This new moon, so I want you to think about how over the past few weeks, you have been reconsidering the ways in which you unwind, the ways in which you let go and escape and retreat. I think you're the kinds of people who, when you've really had enough, right, when the scales have been tipped too much to one side or the other, you're like, nope, I need to be on my own. I need to schedule this or set some time aside, because if I don't, I will physically explode, right? You can exhaust yourself. And maybe this is something that you're trying to be mindful of, Libra, exhausting yourself, right? You can be the kinds of people that just say yes to everything. Okay. Now, at the same time, over the past few weeks, you have been also reconsidering the ways in which you confidently express yourself within group dynamics, within teams and clubs and friendships and everything else. There's a quality of shining, expressing yourself and being heard, being listened to. And I even just want to throw into the equation Venus in your sign, right? And I'm just throwing this into your horoscope because Venus is your chart ruler. It's there in the first house. So there is something about beauty and charm. You're being very graceful. And this could be a time period where you are actually feeling quite confident and good about yourself there. There's greater popularity, for example, that could surround you. Or it's just that you feel just a bit more like yourself. Okay. Therefore, what I want to say about the new moon, this new moon, you will be setting new intentions to do with things like rest and healing, being able to step away, even setting new intentions to do with the quality of your sleep, the very quality of your sleep, Libra. And perhaps this is also about taking the time that you need for your spiritual practices. You could create a new schedule based on your spiritual practices. There could be some kind of routine that is created. And so you want to give that a go. And maybe you've been thinking about such matters for quite a while. I just want to say that too, Libra. Yes, can be quite a healing time and hopefully therapeutic for you as well. Hopefully you're not bombarded too much by critical thoughts, or hopefully you're not bombarded by overthinking either. Because there can be that nervous energy, and maybe this is where stepping back and paying attention a little bit to balance can be helpful. Right. Let's now think about Saturn opposite. This is where things get interesting because Saturn is in the house of health for you. So, yes, Saturn opposite could be pointing toward how you're feeling just a bit sluggish, a bit deflated. There could be just something about your routines and your schedules that feels so samey or just feels just too bleh, just bleh. And maybe there is a part of you that would really like to change things. You're really craving that and you need that for your very soul. Maybe there's a part of it as well where you're just under the weather, you're just quite sick, and you're so fed up. You're like, why do I keep getting sick? Why is it that, whenever I am pushed so hard, I just burn out, and there could be these themes that come up. And maybe this is a good opportunity then for you to actually ask yourself why, right? To really go within and go, why? And to bring some maybe self-awareness to what you do on a daily basis. Naturally, the thing about this is we want to be realistic as well. We want to think about the realities of many people's lives, and it's maybe not so simple just to cut something out or to stop doing something. I mean, you could have understandably a very busy lifestyle, and you got to keep up with things there. But maybe it's just about, okay, being mindful or seeing how can you switch up your priorities a little bit? What can you do? Is there anything you can do? Just putting that back to you there, Libra. Now, there could also be something about work, right? There could be something about your employer or a coworker, and you feel a bit limited by their perspectives, or you are waiting for information to get back to you so that you can move forward. So, I guess just slowing it down, having to be a bit more patient here is likely, Libra. With the same token, I want to say Jupiter and Mars in the ninth house has been quite an inspirational time for you. I think this is also a little piece of, okay, keep the faith, try to remain positive throughout it all. You've got this, you can do this, and trust here. Have faith that your mental strength is going to help you through, right? Courage in the face of adversity here, Libra. And then naturally with Mercury turning direct here in the 11th house, there is something to be said about gaining new insights and the necessary information to do with a certain company you're a part of or an organization you're a part of, and maybe just feeling a bit more confident about what information is received as well. This could even be about a friendship matter. Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio, right. So we have the new moon happening in your 11th house, Scorpio. So for the past few weeks, you've been reviewing and reassessing group dynamics. Maybe some improvements have happened. Maybe some adjustments have happened, seeing which kinds of friendships and social situations no longer serve you. Perhaps it's been a good opportunity for you to make improvements when it comes to any sort of niche communities there. So, for example, it could be that you're a part of a DIY community or a community that is quite crafty, right? So, thinking about crafts and art and stuff like that. Yeah, there could be improvements there. It could even be like a board game situation, something like chess, or just, yeah, something that's intellectually challenging, but is quite fun too. Another possibility here could be that over the past few weeks, you've been really taking a closer look at career opportunities. Think about how you may stand out within your professional lives. Really reconsidering the message that you bring to the public, to the online space possibly, or to organizations that you're a part of, right? Companies you're a part of. And leadership roles as well, right? So leadership roles is very much a part of this with Leo. So the new moon is going to invite you planting new seeds based on these areas, based on these matters. So you may set new intentions to do with group involvements and group participations there, but just being really very selective about the kinds of people who join the group, or being very selective about the kind of group you want to join, right? There could be some specifics that you really pay close attention to there. And again, such matters could be more linked to a corporation you're a part of, or something a bit more bigger, right? Something bigger. This could even be about how you show up within your communities and help and service. So the services that you provide there, maybe as a way to give back, right? So there could be something about volunteering or assisting in some way within your communities. And what I also then want to say is Saturn is opposite. It seems as if there are these limitations and restrictions to do with your creativity quite strongly, Scorpio, right? So it could be a whole scenario where there's a lot of demand from work, there's a lot of demand from friends or the organization that you're a part of. And because of such demands, it can be challenging for you to set time aside to maybe focus on your hobby or to escape into your imagination for a little while. You know, these things could come up. Maybe it even feels like you're a bit blah, just a bit blah about your hobbies and your passions right now. Hey, maybe you just need a break. You need a little bit of a break. And I think when we consider creative people, I think it's normal for creatives to take some time away from their craft, from their hobby, because that can even be, of course, it's good for the resting quality, but that can even be good for inspiration. And that can be good for you to create from a place of a new perspective later on. Then again, there could be some restrictions and limitations to do with your romantic relationships around this time. So just to say that. But hey, perhaps such matters then can also be more about you tuning in with your spiritual self, and even your emotions and how you really feel about certain romantic partners too. Okay, so at the same time, Jupiter is in the 8th house. So there's something about your partner's money that seems to be on the verge of growing. There's something that maybe your partner is wanting to do or is striving to change within their life. There could be a new opportunity on the horizon for them. And perhaps because of that, there is a kind of inspiration present and there's growth present. But yet, because of this as well, readjustments are to be made. So this could be, for example, how you spend time together. There could be a new process or a new schedule that's made because of this other person and their own opportunities. Or this could be more of a subconscious thing, right? This could be more of a psychological thing, something that you're going through within yourself. And how those changes just maybe a bit more active and present for you. And, maybe a part of it too is about courage and bravery and overcoming adversity there. Seeing maybe how you may be getting in your own way and how certain thoughts can just be leading you or misleading you, should I say. Certain thoughts could very well be misleading you around this time, Scorpio. So, yeah, perhaps in this way, try and not give in to negativity in this regard. Courage in the face of adversity. And naturally, with Mercury turning direct in your 10th house, this is a good opportunity for you to move forward when it comes to those career lessons that came up during the retrograde, when it comes to fresh perspectives and clearer insights, clearer messages with regard to, yes, okay, career, but it could also be about your public image, so how you show up within society and the role or position that you play there. Okay, so Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Right. So Sagittarius, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. So I want you to think about how over the past few weeks, Sagittarius, you have actually been taking a closer look at your career goals, successes, your achievements, your accomplishments. You've been just having this reevaluation. You've been performing a reevaluation, and also you have been reassessing your beliefs about yourself, about your passions, your hobbies, the things that light you up and bring you joy. Maybe you've also been reconsidering travel opportunities or where you might want to go. Maybe you've also been taking a closer look at how you teach, how you broadcast information, how you publish it. Maybe you want to do that in a very exciting way, in a very enthusiastic way. So yes, the new moon here invites a fresh start, the start of a new cycle to do with your career, to do with your social status and your public image, Sagittarius. So with that in mind, I want to point out that Saturn is opposite. So whilst I think a part of this says you're striving for improvement or you're striving for something successful here to do with your vocation, there is also a lot happening within your home life, within your family life, your private life. And perhaps such matters are limiting you or blocking you from really pushing then for these other things that you really want within the public. And hey, this is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it could just be that patience is important here. Or hey, it could even be a case of showing great discipline and emotional endurance, showing great mental fortitude during this time, Sagittarius, and just focusing on the things that you can improve, that you can do, that you do have control of, rather than focusing on the things that you don't have any sort of control of. And just trusting as well, trusting in the flow of things, trusting that things are going to work out as they should, so to speak. And I'm really just communicating this in this way because Sagittarius, I feel like you're the kind of sign that can look at life in this way, where you're sort of like, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be. What's meant for you won't pass you. It's this sort of way of viewing things, and maybe you could disagree with that, but apply whatever sort of philosophical message there, Sagittarius. Plus, Jupiter is opposing you. Jupiter is your chart ruler, And it has been communicating a message of expanding and growing when it comes to your one-to-one relationships and partnerships, and stepping up to new challenges, and showing a great deal of mental fortitude there when it comes to your relationships as well. Naturally, I do think that this could suggest some kind of tension happening when it comes to family dynamics, or um, it could be more of a business matter as well. There could be some kind of tension, or difficulties receiving information or getting information back to you on time. There could be some restlessness, nervousness about a business situation around this time, Sagittarius. But hey, with Mercury direct in your ninth, maybe this is kind of like a green light energy, or it's coming energy, or you will receive that information in due time. Maybe it is a case of you are waiting for travel documents to get to you. Again, it could be something to do with legal matters there. Perhaps this is information about a course or a training program, but whatever the case may be, I do think Mercury direct could be a moment of, or a time period of, okay, you're going to move forward there with a clear message to do with these areas. Okay, so Capricorn. Capricorn, right. So this new moon is happening in your ninth house. Oh, a lot is coming up here, Capricorn, when it comes to your beliefs, your deeply held beliefs, when it comes to your greater messages, your morals as well. Your moral compass is a big part of this. Yes, I think really, and I'm really just saying this as someone who has a Capricorn stellium, but many Capricorns are coming to terms here with their wider message and their philosophies. Your religious beliefs could be a part of this, of course, if you are religious there. And just putting more time into these things. Really considering methodically, okay, what is the message? What do you believe in? What is your understanding there? Yeah. And do remember here that over the past few weeks, you have been reconsidering these areas quite a bit. So as you do set intentions during the new moon in Virgo, your intentions, I think, will be based on what has come up for you over the past few weeks when we consider, those areas that we previously mentioned. But there's also a part of this as well that says, over the past few weeks, you've been going over, okay, what about your psyche, and exploring more your depths there, right? Your psychology, taking a closer look at, well, your ego, really, taking a closer look at your ego and how that is communicated, how that is expressed, how that's shared with the world, right? These themes perhaps have come up for you a great deal, Capricorn. And maybe even intimacy is a part of this, right? So intimate connections via, or within sexual experiences. It's not just about, a sexual experience. There also needs to be that intimacy involved. And yes, I think perhaps you have been really considering these things over the past while. And maybe a part of this as well is about play and fun and spontaneity within your intimate relationships. Trust as well could be a big part of this. Trust and vulnerability. So vulnerability, opening up to others, or trusting that when you do share, when you do open up, that people are going to be loyal to you and that they're going to respect that, right? So yes, I think the new moon is going to invite setting new intentions to do with your beliefs, and possibly even to do with some kind of training program or course, right? I mean, it could be that you join a particular advanced training program within your work, or there's a kind of service that you really want to offer. And so you take your time to learn all about it, right? To become qualified Yes, there's a lot to be said about Capricorn and being qualified for the job, and you're willing to take the courses necessary. You're also willing to put in the work necessary. You can be quite diligent people. However, Saturn is hanging out in your third house opposite and actually can indicate some kind of blockage or limitation or setback to do with communication. And this doesn't have to be super serious, I guess, but hey, maybe because Saturn is your chart ruler, it feels really very serious. But this could be something as simple as a communication delay, a documentation delay. This could be a teacher situation that doesn't go according to plan. This could be a mentor that isn't actually the best at giving you advice or walking you through the process. This could even be a sibling matter that arises and challenges your beliefs about yourself, right? Or it could even be a sort of more local area commuting to work situation that takes a while to get used to. Let's just put it that way. It takes you a while to get used to it. Could be, some new routine, a new order, a new lifestyle that you're really wanting to usher in around the new moon, and you're just kind of like, it's going to take a while for me to get used to this, but you will. It just takes time, Capricorn. And at the same time, I want to say that Jupiter is in the 6th. So, hey, yes, I think Jupiter being in the 6th along with Mars further indicates to me that this is a work, the training stuff, the commuting stuff that I just mentioned is tied to work. I can't help but feel like that because the 6th house is activated. But then again, hey, this could be more of a health thing, right? This could be more of a health thing, a fitness thing, something as small as, which gym, right? Which gym do I go to? How do I make time for my workouts? How do I make time for eating, with this new routine or this new schedule, this new job? All these questions may be going off in your mind, Capricorn, because here's the thing, you like to plan. You like to plan, you like to know what you're doing. But it just seems as if the mutable signs have something else to communicate. Lastly, excuse me. Lastly, though, Mercury direct in your 8th house does suggest that you may very well be moving forward with greater understandings, a greater awareness to do with shared resources, to do with loans and debts, and just managing the financial side of things, managing it quite well, performing better. Hopefully. Let's just remember Pluto has been hanging out in your 2nd house, and I know it's probably felt a lot like really, really rocky, but maybe with Pluto retrograde re-entering your sign for a little bit, this will give you an opportunity for you to find your fate, okay? But that's going to require some transition. I feel like this is another opportunity to go through a renewal or to see what you have outgrown. Okay. Aquarius. Okay, so Aquarius, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. Right. Let's think about the past few weeks. Over the past few weeks, you have been taking a step back, right? Taking a step back, and you've been thinking about, okay, my psychological healing. You've been thinking about, okay, what about my nerves? What about my anxieties? How might I be overthinking? How might I be stressing myself out here? Is it possible? Is it likely that such matters are tied to unresolved issues, right? There could be something about an emotional release or dealing with something tied to the past. And seeing even the small changes and improvements that you have made on a psychological level over these past number of weeks there, and the small improvements as well that perhaps have been made when it comes to experiencing greater intimacy and thinking about how you connect on a deeper level with your body. And above the surface it may sound superficial, but really to connect with the body and to listen to its cues and its needs, even to connect with it in a more sexual way, these things can be very healing and very important, actually, when we think about even relaxation and just taking care of ourselves, right? But I also think that you've been reassessing and reviewing the kinds of ways that you communicate within relationships and partnerships. What's actually coming through here is not apologizing for who you are within relationships, and saying that, what, yes, be warm, be thoughtful, be quite open and generous with people, and they reject your warmth and your kindness, then they are not the people for you, Aquarius. And that's okay, right? That is okay. So I think that these themes have been coming up. Hey, this could even be related to business, business partnerships, right? Such as maybe a certain job interview that you've went on over the past few weeks, or there's a business deal that you thought would work out, but such matters did not work out. And you're like, okay, I'm going to learn from that though. So the new moon, I think, is going to indicate how you might set new intentions, plant new seeds to do with all of the psychological insights and healing that has happened for you and that will continue to happen, and how you wish to grow more. And possibly as well, setting new intentions to do with greater coping mechanisms, certain ways to cope and to support yourself, to really show kindness and gentleness towards yourself could be a big thing here for many Aquarians, even thinking about perfectionistic tendencies there that can be quite intense for you, Aquarius. So yes, perhaps this is a new moon where you go, right, I've gained a new perspective, I'm starting a new cycle when it comes to these things. Now, let's bring in Saturn. So Saturn is in the second house opposite, and yes, this can suggest some kinds of limitations and restrictions, or things feeling quite burdensome, might I say, when it comes to your finances and your resources. It's like, oh my gosh, when is this ever going to move? When is this ever going to change? It's just this, and this is a feeling that I've talked about for many signs with Saturn opposite the new moon. Naturally, we want to think about even how Mars is square Neptune as well during the new moon. But yes, I think here there can be this, when will this move? When will this change attitude? And a deflated kind of attitude. And at the same time, there could also be something about your self-worth and maybe finding it challenging to, be a bit kinder to yourself. It's interesting because whilst a part of this new moon says to try to strive to be a bit kinder and a bit more gentle with yourself, maybe even the combination of Virgo and Pisces can be a bit heavy. So maybe an important thing to do here, Aquarius, is yes, okay, sure, there could be nerves, there could be some anxious feelings around this time period, especially if there is a new situation, there is a new experience that you enter into. But how can you breathe? How can you think about, okay, emotional endurance, spiritual growth, mental fortitude, and look what we have here. Jupiter and Mars are in the 5th house, and they have been really supporting you with confidence. Aquarius, confidence. Seriously, I just think this is so much about just being yourself and, to confidently express yourself in the way that, is true for you. And, if you can ever sense people being harsh or critical or judging you, then similar message to what I was saying, those people are not the people for you. And maybe as well with the mental fortitude stuff, a little bit of this is about free time. A bit of this is about enjoyment and play and fun. Just thinking about how particular changes coming up for you with respect to your finances and work, etc., how those things can be supported by a little bit of encouragement, or they can be supported by seeing that, yes, okay, it's time to show strength and bravery in the face of adversity. Like, I can do this, I've got this. And even seeing some reward here with respect to, okay, more time to enjoy yourself, more time to actually do the things that you really love, because maybe a certain job situation changes or a financial situation starts to move slightly, and that opens you up to other opportunities. Hey, but then again, still want you to remember here that the way the astrology is, I'm not saying that just on the day of the new moon that everything is going to change just like that. This could just be a matter of a mindset, right? This could be a matter of patience, thinking about the long haul. Again, emotional endurance. Lastly, then, Mercury direct in the 7th, kind of what I was saying earlier, then you're ready to move forward when it comes to your partnerships and your one-to-one connections there. Thinking even about greater clarity and understanding when it comes to friendships. Right? So it could be a close friend. This could be your significant other, maybe feeling like you're on the same page. Maybe there is a bit more clarity about fun and free time together, time off together. There's a bit more clarity about children. These are just different possibilities. So lastly, we have Pisces. Let me just check here. I'm just going to read through the comments quickly. I'm sorry, I've kind of abandoned the comments. I'm sorry. Hello to Lisa DP. Oh, so Virgo rising quiz, that was from a little while ago, but you've started meditating and doing Qigong? Qigong, is that how you pronounce it? I don't think I've heard of that. I might look that up after. Sandy, hello. 100%. Just stop making excuses. Take care of your health. Yes. Awesome. Mariana, hello to you. Oh, it's on the 2nd of September. My goodness. A happy birthday to you, Mariana. An important hello to you. Scorpio has been done. Timestamps will be up at the end, but if you want to even have a look through, I'm sure you'll be able to find Scorpio somewhere. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your feedback. And Bunny, hello to you. Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing. Aquarius Sun there. Hello, David. Welcome again. Yes, Mercury direct. Brianna, hello to you. You said, gosh, your it's so good. Good. I'm glad that you're here. And I am doing good. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're on the last sign then. We're on Pisces. And yes, Danielle, your moon sign. Radio. So I'm just going to make the screen bigger so I won't be able to see the chat again. Right, let's do this. Pisces. Okay, so Pisces. I want you to think about how over the past few weeks, you have been taking a closer look at how you manage your time, your productivity levels, your stress levels. Your health has really been a big theme, a big part of this. And also reevaluating and reassessing the kinds of relationships that you have with clients or customers there, or the kinds of services that you offer clients and customers. Maybe you've wanted to make a few tweaks and changes, right? You've made a few improvements to your delivery. Maybe even being more efficient has been important to you, or thinking just about how you can make things easier for yourself. Cleaning things up, polishing things up there. Maybe even your hygiene has been a big part of this. And reorganizing your space. Okay. Taking another look at your routines and schedules in a way where you feel a bit more inspired or excited, or you can make more time for fun. Hey, that could be a thing where you're really trying to be mindful of more free time and not just constantly being in work mode. And even when you are working or when you are doing your everyday tasks, there's something spontaneous that can be done, right? There's a little wiggle room there, or maybe it is about really what speaks to your heart in a sense as well. So the new moon in your 7th house, I think, is going to invite an opportunity for you to really gain a fresh perspective about things like business and your services and your relationships and the small sort of ways that you can improve how you show up within your relationships, and the small acts of service and the small acts of kindness that are performed there too. Even just greater validation and greater recognition toward your business partner, toward your significant other, for instance. Thinking even about how you can make the customer experience a lot more enjoyable, or the client experience a lot more enjoyable for your clients. You could be a Piscean and you've got a client list, or you could be a Pisces and you serve customers every day, but there's just something about how you perform there. I mean, it could be a promotion, or it could be some kind of recognition on your part because you went the extra mile, because you went out of your way to put a smile on someone's face, or you improved the customer experience for somebody there. Yes, so this is a new moon that could very well invite these kinds of shifts and a new cycle to do with these areas. However, Saturn is opposite in the 1st house, so I think there is something here about Pisces, you getting in your own way, and I say this with love, you being sick of yourself. Like there could be some kind of habit or a familiar thing, an unconscious thing possibly, that you do, and you're just kind of over it. You're fed up with it. You want to change that thing, right? You want to just change the way you show up there slightly. And I'm not saying this to judge or shame or anything, but it's just more so getting you to reflect on yourself and think about, is there anything about yourself that you're just done with, you're over with? Because the thing about this too is Jupiter is your chart ruler, and Jupiter is in the 4th, and it's basically has more to add to the story. So Jupiter in the 4th with Mars there too, of course, but that may show up as your own personal development and personal growth to do with family, to do with home. So maybe this is where we see you wanting to expand and grow, and where you might limit yourself or block yourself. I mean, this could even be a confidence thing. This could be a self-doubt thing. This could be a self-punishing thing, right? Where you're super hard on yourself, or where you don't see yourself very clearly. You're quick to ridicule yourself, quite possibly. It's an interesting one, to think about seventh house Virgo, because that is often, the unconscious. So you could be the type of Pisces who, you don't like it. You don't like it when other people are super critical, super judgmental. You don't like it when even they're hard on themselves or they're critical toward themselves. But the thing about the seventh is that it's kind of like a mirror, a reflection. So it's to be able to go within and think, oh, okay, is it that you might be quite critical of yourself? Is it that you might, pick yourself apart from time to time? And so upon maybe such a reflection around this new moon, this is where you can then make significant changes. And this is where, emotional endurance comes into it, mental fortitude comes into it, courage and your strengths there. But again, I just can't help but think that what I'm saying, it's also linked to family. It's also linked to your living situation. Certain family members, for example, could really just get on your nerves. That could be a really silly example. But I hope that you get what I'm trying to suggest here, that yes, family, home, your living situation could come into the equation here when we think about what has been said. But perhaps even a part of this is your own emotional state, your own emotional well-being, and certain ways that you wish to be more flexible and adaptable there. That kind of elastic quality to Jupiter. The expansion, right? To be able to expand. But of course, there does seem to be some tension about such matters right now going on. And this is not just for you, but this is, well, maybe more so for you because you're a mutable sign. But we're still working with the square energy for everybody. Still, through such matters, I think this is where perhaps you can see what works more realistically for you. Maybe Virgo nods to some realistic, healthy strategies and approaches that can be made. And lastly, then, Mercury direct in the 6th. So, hey, this could be about you moving forward with greater insights and clearer perspectives, actually to do with things like your health, your everyday stuff, right? Your routines, your schedules, your habits. Something as simple as, okay, maybe you recognize, right, I want to change this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of this. And Mercury direct kind of goes, okay, well, Mercury's in Leo. Loyalty, determination, gonna do it. And so you move forward there with greater respect for yourself, I guess you could say. Okay, so that is everyone. Let me just lower my screen so I can see. Thank you so much, everybody. We've kept it to 2 hours, which is good. That's what we want. Thank you for being here, everyone. Oh, hello, Sina. Hi to you. You say you're tuning in from Germany. Welcome. Just to remind you that if you want to join the Patreon, you can. And I do want to say thank you so much to my patrons over there for all of your support. And thank you for listening. Let's see. Sorry, it's taking a second. If you do wish to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And if you really did enjoy today's live stream, you can always buy me a coffee. But hey, there is no pressure. It's just to let you know what's available there as a way to support the channel. Awesome, David, in part. Yay, good. I'm glad to hear that you're feeling empowered by it. That's what we want. Yes, okay. Evolve realistically this new moon. Happy days. And Danielle, thank you so much. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you, David, for being here. Thank you, Brianna, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I really hope that you have benefited from your horoscopes. And of course, for those of you who are watching this after the live, thank you for watching. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And what day are we on today? I'm getting my days mixed up because I usually do this on a Sunday. It is a Wednesday. Yes, happy Wednesday, everyone. And again, happy Mercury direct day. And I will talk to you all in the next video.